Special, amazing things. And I think our children here in Clarkston are a lot like those children. They're prodigies in the rough. They need to be mined out. And that's a bit of a pun there, both mined out from a thinking perspective and brought out of their rough environments. And speaking of mining out, I did meet and would like to tell you about a young woman, well, many years ago, a young woman who, like many of our children, faced great obstacles. She was an unwed teen mother in her senior year, getting ready to graduate, and had a difficult decision to make, whether or not to choose to keep her baby and to tackle some of the stereotypes, being black, unemployment, and low income, low wage, delinquent children, all of these stereotypes that come upon a teen mom, made the choice to go ahead and keep her baby and to pursue her college aspirations. She went to a small liberal arts college in Boston, a women's college called Lesley College, and baby in tow, dropped her off at Auntie's house and went to class and came back and ultimately began to pursue her dream to be a teacher. Grew up in the faith community, so she wanted to be a teacher not just here in the U.S., but she wanted to go to Africa and engage in missions and help teach people who were less fortunate, and kept that passion for being an educator, for being a teacher, all the way through to being a great teacher, breaking one of those initial stereotypes, not having a job, got a job, pursuing her dream, being a teacher. As time progressed, come on in. Glad to have you. As time progressed, she went from just teaching and being a great teacher to going back to school. She got a master's also in education, and came back to academia as an assistant principal. Was promoted from assistant principal to being a principal, and ultimately receiving one of those gold standards of being a blue ribbon school. And as a result of doing that, and really excited about being able to reach many students in her school as a principal, she went back to her alumni program at Lesley College in Boston, just participating, as many of us who have gone to school like to do, come back and show that, you know, some of that investment that was made there is paying off, and to share and encourage other people who've also had opportunities to go and do things related to their degrees. While at an alumni function, a gentleman approached her about this opportunity to continue even further in education by being an urban superintendent. There was this program starting. It was a dynamic, exciting new program for people like ourselves who work in urban environments where you have a lot of need, a lot of challenge, to equip young people and seasoned veterans alike to be superintendents. She had no plans or thoughts that she would go back to school. At this point, she's a grandmother. Her children now had children. They had married and had children, also breaking and at this point smashing another stereotype. So these children grew up, married, and had children of themselves. But now she's a grandmother. She has established a career. But this was an opportunity to expand that initial vision to reach children beyond just one school. Now as a superintendent, the opportunity is to meet and reach a whole school district. So she rose to the occasion, she met that challenge, and this challenge also included going to not just any school to continue her education, but one of the most noted schools here in the Western Hemisphere, and I would say even across the globe, producing leaders all around the globe. This was Harvard University. So she completed her academic career there and got her doctorate, and went on to actually work with the D.C. public schools as an area rep superintendent. And from there, she established her own company. And in establishing her own company, she was able to reach many different superintendents in other school districts. And that company is BKL. And BKL was named for her 3 children. And I stand before you today as the B of BKL. That woman is my mother, Janice Alston Barclay. And I wanted to share that story because I think of the many obstacles that she overcame to get to a point where many of us, I always joke, she set the bar so high now, we just kind of try to hang on, swing our feet, see if we can get up to that point. Not expected to go as far. And in the same community where she started, Cambridge is where Harvard is, that's where she was the unwed teen mother, not expected to go much further stereotypically than she ultimately was able to achieve. So our young people, we want to inspire likewise to go beyond the limitations of their immediate circumstances. She encourages young women, and particularly who are disproportionately often given the pressures of you can only go but so far, but encourages young men as well, as you can see here today. I'd like us to today have a dynamic, engaging type of workshop. That's why the term is workshop and not lecture, although I've done some of that too. So we're going to dive right in. We'll do some team building activities that will help us go through 4 stages of group dynamics, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And then we'll come back and we'll talk some about slides that will help us look at some safety issues, which is key to each of our organizations, the diversity issues, which are key to each of our organizations, and how we can actually put these things into practice to help our programs. So if you have not yet got a name tag, this is, and all of these things that I'll be sharing and doing with you today, and in case you're wondering, the little puppet cleaners, anybody that may be like me, need to do something with my hands. My mom tells me when you speak, you shouldn't fiddle with your hands. I know I was moving them a zillion miles a minute, but this is to give you something if you just want to make a little doodad with your hands. So that's what those are for. They're for you to just be mindless and use. But the tape here is for your name badge. If you have volunteers, if you are a volunteer, if you work with kids, most of the time to find an actual name tag may be a little difficult. But to find a roll of masking tape, more than likely, is much easier. So please write your name very big and legible, because our first activity, other people will need to be able to see and read it. So I will start it here. And then for those of you that already have your name badges on, you can join us. We're going to make a circle. We can actually do it probably here. No, let's do it on this side. So you all can